Good morning all of you. I am your science teacher. Today I am going to teach you science. In last video we discussed on our second chapter, and in that chapter we discussed on the different separating methods which is used to separate the substance from the mixtures. So some techniques we already discussed, and today we continue with the same topic from the same chapter. And so our next separating method is here. Is the dye in black ink a single color? If I ask to you, is the dye in black ink a single color? It means the dye which is used in black ink has only one color, only one single color. So why the technique of chromatography, we can separate the colors which present in dye. Usually a dye has two or more colors. So while this technique we separate all the colors from the ink. So in this technique we need a filter paper strip, and we mark a line by pencil above 3 cm and put a small drop of ink on it. And then this paper strip will hang on the glass rod by paper clip and hang into the jar. This jar already has some water. So when we hang paper strip into the jar, the paper strip touches the layer of water. So what will happen? The water absorbed by paper strip and water moves in upward direction on the paper. So when water moves in upward direction, it touches the ink drop, and the colors which present in ink, it dissolved by the water, and the colors which present in ink have different solubility. Some colors present dissolve very fast, and some colors take some time to dissolve in water. So the color which dissolve very fast or soluble very fast and it moves with the water in upward direction. Then the second color will dissolve and it also moves in upward direction. And third and fourth, the colors which present in the ink dissolve in water, and on the basis of their solubility, it moves in upward direction. So we get the different sets of color on the basis of their solubility on the filter paper. So by this technique we separate colors from the ink or from the dye. This technique is also used at many places. This is used to separate colors in a dye. We already see that. Pigments from a natural color. So we can separate the colors from pigments from the natural colors, and drugs from blood. In hospitals and in pathologies, by the process of chromatography, we separate the drug from the blood sample. Okay, so then the next technique is used to separate a mixture of two miscible liquids. Miscible liquids mean the liquids which mixed together equally and disperse equally, and we cannot see any color separately or any substance which present in solution is separate. Both are mixed together completely. And in this technique is known as fractional distillation. This technique is used to separate miscible liquids. For example, the crude oil or the petroleum, the different product of petroleum, petrol, diesel, kerosene are separated by this technique. Okay, first we air compress, and when the air convert into liquid, and we able to separate by this technique the contents of air. What the composition of air? Different gases are there: oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, any inert gases are there. So by this technique we separate different gases on their boiling point. Okay, so in this technique we take a tripod stand and a burner and a flask that is also known as distillation flask, and we take a mixture of acetone and water. It is a miscible liquid. Both are the miscible liquids because water or acetone mixed, they mixed together completely. ये बहुत अच्छे से मिक्स हो जाते हैं and we are not able to identify what is acetone and what is water. Both are dissolved completely. And with this, we take this solution into the flask, mixture into the flask, and fit a thermometer in its rubber cork, thermometer to measure the temperature, and another tube connected with it, and this tube covered with a condenser. Condenser means another glass tube covered our narrow tube, and this tube is used to help condense the vapor or cool this narrow tube. So when this narrow tube cool, so the present vapor is also cool and it condense and convert into vapor to liquid. When we heat this liquid, this mixture, जब हम इसको हीट करेंगे तो इसमें से वेपर की फॉर्म में क्या होगा, सबसे पहले एसीटोन का जो पॉइंट होता है वैल्यू वो बहुत जल्दी एवोपरेट होता है. आप अगर एसीटोन को जनरली हम हैंड पर भी लेते हैं तो वो बहुत जल्दी हमारी बॉडी की हीट लेकर एवोपरेट हो जाता है. आपने देखा होगा नेल पेंट रिमूवर्स में एसीटोन यूज होता है. नेल पेंट रिमूवर जो होता है उसमें एसीटोन यूज होता है. आप उसको देखेंगे तो जल्दी से वो बॉडी की हीट लेता है और एवोपरेट हो जाता है. तो जैसे ही उसको थोड़ी सी हीट मिलेगी वो वेपर में कन्वर्ट हो जाएगा और यहाँ कलेक्ट हो जाएगा और यहाँ से नैरो ट्यूब से होते हुए वो कहाँ जाने लगेगा, वेपर की फॉर्म में आगे जाने लगेगा. और यहाँ पर एक कंडेंसर लगा हुआ है, इसमें कोल्ड वाटर फिल है, जिससे ये ट्यूब क्या होगी, यहाँ पर कूल हो जाएगी और इससे जो वेपर निकलेगी वो भी कूल होगी और क्या हो जाएगी, कंडेंस हो जाएगी और वो वेपर से किसमें कन्वर्ट हो जाएगी, लिक्विड में. और इसको हम एक अदर बीकर में क्या कर लेंगे, कलेक्ट कर लेंगे. सो व्हाई दिस टेक्निक, we separate two miscible liquids. So we are in this activity we separate acetone from water. So this technique used to separate mixture of two or more miscible liquids, and this technique is known as fractional distillation. I hope you will understand, and if you have any doubt you can ask. Good luck.